Hey guys, welcome back to Homework Help for Year 6, Term 1, Week 4. On page 5, homework is at the bottom. It says the water in the kettle is 24.7 degrees Celsius. By how much will it have to increase to reach boiling point? Now, boiling point of water is 100 degrees. So from 20, whoa, that's too big. So from 24.7 to reach 100 degrees, how much more degrees have to be raised? So just do a simple subtraction to find out the difference. Whoops. Okay, the rubber is not correct either. Let me just get the rubber. Okay. So 100.00 take away 24.7. Okay, that now this will be 10 minus 7 will be 3. This will be a 5. 10 to the 5 is a 5. This will be a 3. 10 to the 3 is 7. So the answer should be 75.3 degrees more. What is the difference between 8.7 degrees Celsius and minus 13? So imagine you have a number line and it goes from, and we have 0 here, 0 degrees. And then you have minus 13 is over here, and you have 8.7 is on the right hand side. So all the negative numbers on this side and all the positive numbers on this side. So between minus 13 and 7, how much degrees is between these two? So from here to here is we have 13 units, 13 degrees. And from here to here we have 8.7 degrees. So to find how much degrees to go from minus 13 all the way to 7, we have to just add these two numbers up. Okay, so we're going to do 13.0 plus 8.7. You're going to have a 7. 8 plus 3 will be 1, 11, and let's carry the 1 over, and that'll be 2. So it'll be 21.7 degrees. So the difference between that will be 21.7 degrees. Question 3. Change the following to the units in the bracket. So we want to change everything to kilograms. Okay, so we know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Now to go from kilogram to grams, we just have to, how do you get 1 to 1,000 using multiplication or division? So to go from 1 to 1,000, we must multiply by 1,000. Okay. Now if you want to go from, so to go from kilograms to grams, we just multiply by 1,000. If you want to go from grams to kilograms, so how do we get 1,000? How do we get that to turn into a 1? Well, we just divide it by 1,000 using division or multiplication. So you have to divide it by 1,000 to get to 1. So therefore, to go from grams to kilogram, we just divide it by 1,000. Okay. That's the idea between these conversions. So we're going to take this number and divide it by, because we're going from grams to kilograms, right? So to go from grams to kilograms, like I said, you just divide it by 1,000. So just take that number, which is 98760, and divide it by 1,000. So at the moment, where's the decimal? The decimal place is right here. If you divide by 1,000, it jumps 3 spaces back to the left. So 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 97.76. So the answer for the first one, I'm going to give it to you, is 97. Let me rub this out. So what's happened here is you're taking this number and you're dividing it by 1,000, and you're going to get 98.76 kilograms. Now the next one, 3.4 tons to kilograms. So tons to kilograms, 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kilograms. So to go from tons to kilogram, we times it by 1,000. So you times this by 1,000, which means you move decimal place to the right 3 times. 1, 2, let's put a 0 here, 3. So therefore that's 3840 kilograms. Now to go from grams to tons, okay, so let's have a look here. 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kilograms. Each kilogram is worth 1,000 grams. Okay, 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Here you have 1,000 kilograms. So 1,000 times 1,000. So you're gonna have 1,000. Now remember, to go kilograms to grams, we times it by 1,000. So to go to grams, times it by 1,000. So that's 1,000 times 1,000, and that gives you 1,000,000 grams. Okay. So here we have 1 ton. Actually, let me put that in blue. 1 ton is equal to 1,000,000 grams. Now we're going from grams back to tons. To go from grams to tons, we're going to have to divide it by 1,000,000. So divide this by 1,000,000. Let's see what we get. Let me rub this out. Okay. So here you have. If you divide this by 1,000,000, let's go back. 1,000,000 has 6 zeros, so let's go back 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer is 0.58 tons. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing for these other ones. So to go from millimeters to centimeters, we divide it by 10. So you divide this by 10 to get to centimeters. To go from meters to kilometers, you divide it by 1,000. To go from kilometers to meters, you times it by 1,000. Go backwards. Okay. This is 4.5. This is 4.5. Times it by 1,000. So imagine you got 4.5, and let's put a couple of zeros here. See what happens. Times it by 1,000, which means that we're going to move decimal place to the right 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So it lands right there, which means the answer is going to be 4500 in the decimal place is right there. So therefore the answer is 4,500. Okay, you can do the other two yourself. Next page. Alright, find the perimeter of each figure. Let's have a look. There's this one here. To find the perimeter, we're going to add all the numbers together. So we have 9, and we have this one to be 19 and 16. So imagine I draw a line between to mark them. So let's have a look at this one. How long is this piece here? So 19 take away 16, that means this piece is 3. Actually, let me put it on the inside. 3. Okay, and look at this arrow here. This arrow is pointing to that to this thing. That's 2. Okay, which means this must be 2 as well. Alright, what else we got? So we got those we got those lengths. Now let's see what else we got. Let me just rub all this stuff out. So again, we had a 3 and a 2, and so that means that together this will be a 5, right? Okay, so that's a 5, that's a 2, 16. What else we got? We got 8 here, and it looks to me like that's a 13. That's a 13 there. That's 8 there. 8 plus 13 will give us 21. So here's 28. The bottom one's 28. Okay, so this is 13. This is 8. Together it's 21. So that means 28. Take away 21. That gives us 7. This middle part must be 7, which means this is 7 down here. All right. Let's rub this stuff out. Okay, so I've got all the numbers. Now let's add them all up. So this is 13 and that's 8 there. Okay, so you're going to do 19. So that's 19 plus 28 plus 16 plus 13 plus 2 plus 7 plus 5 and then plus 8, and then you get the perimeter. Alright, you can do that yourself. Next one. This is 12. Now we have 56 here, and this is 32. So let's do 32 plus 12. 32 plus 12, that gives you 44. Now 56 take away 44 will give us this length here. Okay, there's a difference. So 56 take away 44 will give you a 2 and a 1. That means that one is 12 as well. So I just worked out this length here to be 12. And this is 12. This will be 38. Okay. Now what is this length? I need this length and this length. And it says that it given to us is 10. So that means this must also be 10. Alright, so add them all up and get the perimeter. It says find the perimeter. Question 11. A barrel of water has a mass of 1.2 kilograms. If the barrel's mass is 350 grams, what's the mass of the water? A barrel of water. So together, the barrel with the water. Is equal to 1.25 kilogram. I can change it to grams and that'll be times it by 1,000, that'll be 1,250 grams. And then it says the barrel's mass, so the barrel by itself, the barrel is 350 grams. Now what's the mass of the water? So plus with the mass of the water, we don't know what that is. But we know that together is 1,250. So how do you find this one? Do a simple subtraction to find the difference. So all you gotta do is just take 1,250, subtract 350, and get the answer there. Question 12. A truck has a mass of 4.215 tons and is carrying 30 crates of tomatoes, each weighing 7,500 grams, and 8 crates of potato, each weighing 14.7 kilograms. What is the total mass of the truck and vegetables? Okay, so the truck itself, so let me write up here. So the truck is 4.215 tons. Let's change it to kilograms. So to go from tons to kilogram, you times it by 1,000. So that you're going to get 4,215 kilograms. Now let's look at it says it's carrying 30 crates of tomatoes. So let's look at the tomatoes. Each weighs 7,500 grams. Okay, so it's got 30 crates. One crate weighs 7,500 grams. Let's also change it to kilogram because I want everything to be in kilogram. Might be easier. So that's equal to 30 times, now grams to kilograms, to go from gram to kilogram, you divide it by 1,000, and that's going to give you 7.5 kilograms. So if you multiply that by that, 3 times 75, 3 times, that'll be 15, is it? No. 2 times, that'll be 15, 22.5, so that means 225 kilograms. Alright, so now we have to do the 8 crates of potatoes. So potatoes. Alright, so just give me 1 second. Let's double check this tomatoes. Yep. Okay, so for potatoes, you got 8 crates, so 8 lots of. And each crate weighs 14.7. So do 8 times 14.7, and you're gonna get 117.6 kilograms. So there's that one. You can work that out yourself, and you'll see it to be that number there. It says, what's the mass of the total mass of the truck and vegetables? Okay, so you want to find the total mass. You're gonna add all this up. That plus that plus that. Add them up and get a total. That number there. Okay, add and add. Alright, you can do that yourself. Question 13. A man's stride. A stride is 1 step. It's 80 centimeters. What fraction of a meter is this? So 80 centimeters, we're comparing it to 1 meter. So that means we have to put 80 centimeters on top and 1 meter at the bottom. The bigger number at the bottom there. And we're comparing. And to compare this, you have to make them both the same units. At the moment, the top one is centimeters, the bottom one is meters. So let's make them both centimeters. So 80 centimeters over how many centimeters in a meter? 100. So now we can compare them. 80 to 100. Let's cross it out, zeros, and you have 8 over 10. We're going to simplify that, you get 4 over 5. So that means each step of the man is 4/5 of a meter. Now it says, how many strides must he make to cover a distance of 500 meters? Okay, so let me just move this over here. Okay, so one step equals to 4/5 of a meter. Now, how many of these will cover a distance of 500 meters? So you do division. Okay, so you do 500 divided by 4/5 of a meter. And let's do some fraction. Now 500 is a whole number, so it must be over 1. So that's 500 over 1 divided by 4/5. So we times it by flipping the second fraction. It'll be 5 on 4. Okay, what can we do here? We can divide the top and bottom by 2. This will be 2, this will be 250. I can divide it by 2 again. This will be 1 and this will be 125. So now you have 125 times 5 over 1 times 1 is 1. And that should give us, let me double check what that is. It'll be 625. 625 over 1, which this is a whole number because it's over 1. So therefore, how many strides? You're going to have 625 strides. We did a simple division and we got the answer. Question 14. To make a large paperclip requires 8 centimeters of steel. How many paperclip can be produced from 7.5 meters of length of wire? So if you have a length of wire which is 7.5 meters, or we can say that's just 750, actually 7.5 meters, or you could say that is the same as 750 centimeters. Now the question is, how many of these 8 centimeters can we take from this length of wire, steel wire? So just do division. Do 750 centimeters divided by 8 centimeters. So do long division, 750 divided by 8, and get the answer. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next one. Whoops. What is the perimeter of an equilateral triangle? Equilateral triangle looks like this. Oh. There we go. Alright. Where all the lengths are the same lengths. The 3 sides are the same. It says if one side is 7, this is 7 1/4 meter. That means all of them will be 7 1/4 meter. So, what is the perimeter? Just add them all up. 7 1/4 plus 7 1/4 plus 7 1/4. 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals to 21. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. Done. Meters. A bike wheel has a circumference of 175 centimeters. If the wheel spins 82 times, how much distance is covered by the bike? So if the wheel spins, so here's the circumference, right? The circumference goes from that all the way around back to that. So if you were to rotate this wheel 1 turn, you would have traveled the distance of the circumference. And distance circumference is given to us to be 175 centimeters. So 1 turn will travel you 175 centimeters forward. Now, if the wheel spins 82 times, that means it's done 82 turns. 82 turns. How much distance covered in meters? So, what do? Times it by 82. So you times it by 82. And then whatever the answer is, it'll be in centimeters, right? Change it to meters, and that's done. Alright, let's rub that part out. Alright, next one is question 17 and 18. Find circumference of the following circles using pi as 22/7 and the circumference formula as circumference equals to 2 times pi times r. R stands for radius. So there's two formulas actually. There's that one, or there's pi times diameter. And R, so R stands for radius, okay? Let me just write this out. So let's look at here. Here we're given the diameter. So the circumference is equal to pi times diameter, which equals to, now pi, they told us to use this one here, 22/7 times diameter, which is 42, and that's a whole number, so it must be over 1. Now we can just do a simplification. Look at 7 and 42, we can divide them both by 7. 7 divided by 7 will give us 1, 42 divided by 7 will give us 6. So now you have 22 times 6 over 1 times 1, which is 1. 22, that will be what? 132 centimeters. And there's the answer. Now it has a radius of 7. So if it has a radius of 7, so if we're given diameter, we use this formula because it has diameter in it. If you want to use radius, then we use this formula here because it has the radius in it. Okay. So we're going to say circumference is equal to 2 times pi times radius, so which equals to 2 times the pi, which is told us to use 22/7 times the radius, which is 7. Radius of 7. Okay. So that's equal to, let's have a look at this. That's equal to 2/1 times, we're going to change everything to a fraction over 7 times it by 7/1. And what's going to happen here is you're going to have 7 and 7 can disappear. We can divide them both by 7. So all you have is 2 times 22. Easy. You can work that out. The distance between two cities is measured as 8.1 centimeters on a map drawn to scale of 1 to 5 million. Wow, okay. What is the actual distance between the two cities? So what this means is that let's say 1 centimeter in the map. So this is map distance. And here's the distance in real life. Real life will be 5 million centimeters. It'll be 5 million times bigger, longer, whatever. So now we have 8.1 centimeters on the map. Okay. So what's the real life distance between the two cities? So what we're going to do is times it by 8.1, which means we must times it by 8.1. So let's just say 5 million times 8.1. So let's just do 5 times 8.1 first. 5 times 1 is 5 dot 5 times 8 is 40. So it'll be 40.5 million. Okay, I'm just doing a shortcut way. Centimeters. Okay, so that means you got 40. Actually, let's turn it back into 40,500,000 centimeters. Now we don't want to keep this number because when you're talking about the distance between two cities, usually we want it in kilometers. Nobody measures that in centimeters. Okay, so we should change this to kilometers. So let's go to centimeters first. How many centimeters? I mean, how many meters is this? So to go to meters, we have to divide it by. To go to meters. Okay, we have to divide it by 100. So divide by 100, so that get rid of 20. Boom, boom, gone. And now, if you want to get, so from meters we can go to kilometers. So to go to kilometers, you must divide meters by 1,000. So divide by 1,000. That has 3 zeros, so 1, 2, 3. And there's your kilometers. So that means you have 405 kilometers, and that's the answer. Okay, last page. Alright, a A wire grid is shown in the following in the diagram. A raindrop starts at A and runs down the Y in the grid to the ground. How many different paths may it follow? Well, it can go this way, 1. It can go this, and then this, 2. It can go this, 3, or it could go this and this, 4. There's 4 ways. If 2 apples weigh the same as an orange and 3 oranges weigh the same as 4 melons, then how many apples will weigh the same as 24 melons? So let's think of it like apples, then you got orange, and then you got lemons. So 2 apples is weigh the same as an orange, 1 orange. Okay. Now, if you have 4, now it says 3 oranges, so 3 oranges weigh the same as 4 lemons. Okay. How many apples weigh the same as 24 lemons? So we have to make a comparison. So let's just look at this part here. If I go from 1 orange to 3 oranges, I tripled it, right? Times it by 3, right? So that means how many apples would that be? So times it by 3, that means you get 6 apples. Okay, now let's have a look. We can compare everything now. Whoops. Oh, I wrote it on the wrong. I wrote on the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have I'm going to times this one by 3 and I get 6. That's what we did before, right? So now let's look at this. We can use these numbers here. Okay? We can use this and compare everything. Everything's on the same line now. Alright, so to get 3 oranges, we need 6 apples. And then 3 oranges will produce 4 lemons. Okay, so all of this is on the same line. This is something known as rates and ratios. Actually, this is known as ratios. We learned this later. All right, so it says how many apples will weigh the same as 24 lemons? Okay, let's look at 24 lemons. How do I go from this to this? I have to times it by 6. 4 times 6 is 24. So, and it says how many apples. So what do you think I'm going to do to this one? I must times it by 6 as well, isn't it? If I triple the lemons, I must triple the apples. And at the moment, this whole line, everything is compared nice and neat in one whole line. So we can make a direct multiplication here. If you times it by 6 here, you must times it by 6 here, and that's a direct comparison there. So therefore, how many apples you need? Well, you need 6 times 6, and that's the answer, 36. So there's your answer. Being a bit generous today, giving you all the answers. How many squares of any size are there in the diagram? Okay, so let's have a look at this diagram, and let's see how many 1 squares can you see. 1 squares. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, how many 2 squares? Can you see any 2 squares? Well, is there such thing as a 2 square? Can I call this a square? No, it's a rectangle. Okay, so you can't do it that way. Can I call this a square? That's also a rectangle. So there's no such thing as a 2 square or 3 squares. 2 or 3 squares, there's no such thing. 0. How about 4 squares? Would that make a square? Well, let's have a look. This is a 4 square, and yes, this is indeed a square. Okay, so that's how many of these can we see? 1, 2. So there's 2 of them. Is there any 5 squares? No such thing as a 5 square. Otherwise, it look like this. That's not a square. 6 squares. Oops. 6 square looks like this, which is not a square as well. So that's it. That's all we got. So we got add them all together. 6 plus 2, 8. Question 4. If the area of the figure, what figure? Oh, question 3 and 4 is talking about this figure here. Okay. The area of the figure is 294 centimeters. Then the perimeter of the figure in centimeters will be what? Okay, so the area of this figure is 290. Now this figure is made up of 6 squares. Okay, 6 squares. They're all squares. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the area of 1 square. We know that 6 square is this much, so 6 squares has a total of 294 centimeters. So therefore, what's 1 square? Let's find out what 1 square is. So we divide it by 6, and obviously we divide it by 6. So 294 divided by 6, 29 divided by 6 will give me 4, yeah? That's 24. Remainder of 5, 54 divided by 6 will be 9, so 49. So 1 square is equal to 49 centimeters. Okay, now let's think about it. If the square has an area of 49 centimeters, what is the length of the side? What times what gives me 49? Obviously that's 7 times 7 to give you 49. That means that, actually, you know what, I'll leave it there. That means that each of these lengths is equal to 7. These little lengths here, they're all 7. Okay, so that means that the length of the entire thing here, this whole length here will be 7 times 7, 7 plus 7 plus 7, that gives you 21. And here it will be 7 plus 7, that's 14. So there is the length of and width of this rectangle. So 21, 14, 21, 14. And it says to find the it wants you to find the perimeter of the figure. You can work it out, okay? Add all those numbers together and you get the answer. Question, last one. The digits of the number 3,792 are multiplied together. Which of the following statement is true? Okay, so let's multiply it together, see what we get. 3 times 7 times 9 times 2. 3 times 7 is 21. 9 times 2 is 18. So let's do... So it's 21 times 18. Okay. Let's just leave it. Let's just not get an answer. Let's see what happens here. Their product is a prime. Is that true? No. How can their product be a prime if these numbers have been multiplied together? So for example, whatever answer I get, right? Let's just call it. Let's call this answer X. I could divide this by 21 and 18. If it can be divided like that, then it's not a prime number. Prime number can only be 0 and itself. So that's not true. All right, next one is you got when the product is divided by 4, the remainder will be 1. Let me see. The product divided by 4. Actually, you can try it. You can test that out. Yeah, so multiply these numbers together. Alright, I'll just do it right here real quick. Okay, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, magical 0, 21, add it together, you get 8, 7, 3, 3, 7, 8. Okay, so let's do 3, 7, 8 divided by 4, and let's see if we get 30. 6 divided by 4 will be 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Remainder 1. 18 divided by 4 would be 4. Remainder 2. It has a remainder of 2. So when the product is divided by 4, you get a remainder of 2, not 1. So that's incorrect. The product will be a multiple of 14. Be a multiple of 14? Well, let's have a look. Look at these numbers here. Okay, I can rearrange this and say, well, this is going to be like this. I could say that's going to be 3 times 9 times 7 times 2. 3 times 9, 27. 7 times 2 is 14. You see, there's a factor of 14. So that means that, yes, it will be a multiple of 14. Oh, actually, would it be? Yeah, it will be. It will be a multiple of 14. So that means that's true. Now the last one. The product exactly divisible by 24. I don't think it'd be divisible by 24. Wait, can it? Let's give it a try. So let me rub all this stuff out. So 3, 7, 8 divided by 24. 24 into 38 once. So we put 24. We take away, we get this will be a 3. This will be a 3, so it's 38. 38 is not divisible by, well, okay, we 1 again. And that's gonna be remainder, be 6 plus 8 will be 14. remainder 14. So there's not exactly divisible by 24, is it? So we can't say it is. Okay, so the answer is C. And that's it. That's the end of that one. Hope that helps.